Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? Oh, Dragon Ball Super Broly, man. They actually made one of the most dislikable characters into just a character I want to pretty much be the main character. For some reason, I feel like the animation, and I'm sorry if you guys have not watched this movie yet and are waiting for the dub, so you should definitely back out right now. This is your one spoiler um, warning. So, yeah, if you don't want to be spoiled, get out of here right now. But with this movie, I mean, it tells you what this movie's or my video's about. So if you're getting spoiled and you're still here, I'm sorry. Uh, but Broly being one of the most hated characters in Dragon Ball when it just came down to actually storytelling and overall how he was like mad or just the reasoning why he did the things behind what he did, they really just kill that altogether. But at the same time, I feel like the only people who might not have got the memo that they killed that aspect of Broly was the people who got to make the song, because the song's like Kakarot, 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 Kakarot. Like it sounded like the Broly that they might have thought it was. And I've heard this isn't like something that isn't uncommon to hear about is when studios and people who just kind of get a general script of things of like, hey, Broly's going to be in this movie and we want a song to represent him, and then they go and look up what Broly is, and the last thing they have is that. So I think that might have played a little bit of a role in that, but at the same time, it still is dope. Like the music was kind of like non-existent because you're so infatuated with the fighting. You're kind of just lost in the world of the fight. But to get back to the beginning of the actual story and really the kind of only slow part of the whole entire movie, which is like hard to say it was even boring, but it was like a retelling and a modification on what Frieza was pretty much what we thought Frieza knew anyway. I think this is one of the ways for Toriyama to pretty much be like, hey, if there's anything the fans want to complain about, I want to attack all of it and get it out of the way, so we don't have anything to really worry about in the sense of the fandom not being happy with something. And I think they only missed the mark a little bit because with sorry, I started beating the crap out of Cell Jr. I lost where I was going. I think they kind of missed the mark with the whole Frieza and the Super Saiyan and the Super Saiyan God, because it just felt like they forced that, like all of a sudden Frieza knew Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyans, but Super Saiyan and Dragon Ball Z was by far the scariest thing Frieza's ever experienced. So it kind of killed that a little bit, like his actual reaction to a Super Saiyan compared to a Super Saiyan God. When he saw the God, he's just kind of like, oh wow. Classic Frieza, and tried to slap on Blue while Goku went straight to Blue. That's pretty much the compliment again of just Frieza alone. Like he went straight Blue and skipped Red because he wanted to show him exactly what he had like earned with training after gaining God. So that's pretty ridiculous. But not to mention, this movie was very Frieza based. I loved every moment of it, but then at the same time, this was the true movie to start putting me back into the perspective of like, I truly despise you, Frieza. You're a piece of crap. Frieza moments, pretty much. I want to talk about the one thing that really caught my attention was the fact that Frieza pretty much is almost at the level of like a base Gogeta in this movie. And I say that because even Super Saiyan Gogeta was swapping hands with Broly at Super Saiyan, and not even the Super Saiyan form that was like the one I'm using right now, full power, just the Super Saiyan. And I have a very good idea of what Broly's whole entire, like, why his transformation is so much better than everybody else's, and I'm loving it because it's what I've been asking for from this show from a quite a long time since we saw Heroes, and seeing that Super Saiyan 4 is like the biggest transformation in Heroes, and then God's becoming, popular now. And it's kind of been ruled out that God and Super Saiyan 4 are almost on the same level. So there's a couple of things that are pointing towards Tails coming back in the series, and I would love, love, love that. Um, and this is why, because the whole thing with Broly and how he was like pretty much keeping up with Goku, or not even Goku, but Vegeta at the very beginning of this fight. He had this weird like way of accessing the giant ape within himself once the tail got removed, which supposedly that is a thing, that to harness the ape inside of a Saiyan is one of the things that you can do. But when Broly was doing it, he would lose control, and that would lead to his like overall just arcing power coming out of his body. But like his father says in his father says in the movie, that also comes with Broly like loses it, and he could pretty much destroy like anybody when it comes down to it. But at the same time, he never like had real like fighting training. Like all of his punches and stuff he threw were just like a kid, fighting back, like trying to defend himself type of deal. Until his father actually started putting some battle simulations in him, and then even then Vegeta was fighting him at base, and Vegeta's like he has like no type of real good fighting, and then more and more he just kept getting better and better and better. So um, with this being said, the whole beginning of the movie just kind of shows you that that ape transformation wasn't even necessary when he was a kid, because his power level was like something like 400 or something, or like 950 when he's a kid. And like this guy who pretty much rides with Paragus, the father of Broly, he's like, this kid is stronger than me. Like already he's a kid and he's stronger than the non-combatant people who are grown men. So not only is he more useful than non-combatant Saiyans already, he's been on this planet for maybe like a day or maybe like 2 days by himself, and he's been taking care of himself and defending himself, because his whole power is attached to his rage. So he never wants to fight unless he's angry, which he has a very bad anger issue, which was obviously going to come with some bit of this whole transformation as a whole. But I loved every moment of that part of Broly. But the rest of the movie was really just Bardock, getting Goku off the planet. Bardock really didn't really have the anything from the old movie when it came down to actually showing if he had, telepathy, or not telepathy. He had like premonition or something. He could like see what could be happening in the future because of what he did on a planet, and that was kind of retconned. He did go up and fight, and it did look like they wanted to put Bardock straight up bodying everybody, because if you look very, very closely, you'll see that there's the army right behind Bardock, and he had gotten to Frieza. Like the whole entire scene happened. It's just, I guess since they've done it, they didn't need to necessarily do it for us. Just by throwing the characters back there, I kind of got the message of what they were trying to say. Like Bardock actually tried to tell the Saiyans Frieza's crooked Frieza, and they just didn't listen. So with them not listening, it kind of put Bardock in a stand to fight by himself, and they all got wiped out the way that it happens in the other stories. So that was really the sad part of the Bardock scenes, and like seeing the mom, she really they were just there to die, like to give Frieza just more of a reason why we are supposed to hate him even as a young Frieza, which, man, he's just a rough guy. Not to mention that so I guess I'll stick to I'll just keep going by the story arc. So Frieza then destroys everything, and everything goes as it was, and what Frieza's up to is sending people to the planet that are weak, that if they go there, they won't get caught, pretty much. Like, if these people are on this planet, there's no way anybody's going to know about them because they're so weak, and Goku won't sense them. They're just like humans almost in that aspect. So, you know, Frieza's already outsmarting them and just showing them, are giving us more reason to why could be such a problem with all the information Frieza keeps attaining on the heroes. They have to keep continuously getting better, or Frieza's just gonna surpass them, or you know, be able to call out all the things they do and then maybe still lose. You know, that's kind of how Dragon Ball goes. He knows everything, but he'll still lose by the thing he should have known to avoid. um, but yeah, so with Frieza getting, you know, pretty much humiliated by everybody and, you know, Goku and stuff like that, he already wanted to fight and destroy anybody that really was on planet Earth that got in his way. Going in for the Dragon Balls for the dumbest reason, which is in hindsight, it's kind of smart and it's not, because the reason why I thought he wanted to get taller was to be like to have more reach, or you know, for something combat abilities or something. But he's just like, yeah, I'm tired of people calling me small. Calling me small, you know, like like that. That had me dead. I'm not gonna lie. Like Frieza's amazing, and to see that he's been this self-conscious about his height. I mean, in Namek Saga, Goku literally towered over them, but he was completely just destroying Goku. So even though he was taller, or even though he was smaller, he still felt like, and he was winning, he still felt like he was losing because Goku could just make like tall jokes or like small jokes, like, oh, I'm tall, but you know, you're a small guy, you wouldn't know how that feels. You know, it's just, it's a funny thing for him to want the Dragon Balls for. But then at the same time, Bulma wants the Dragon Balls to be like 5 years younger, and she's not going to go any younger than that each time she uses it, so people don't think she's using plastic surgery and stuff like that. So we pretty much understand who Frieza is. If Bulma got the power of Frieza, she would be a tyrant and still be wishing to look pretty, or she would be wishing for height, just like Frieza. They're identical in this movie pretty much. So that was hilarious in my opinion. But other than that, we really don't get much more from the people who we actually think we're gonna do anything. Like Paragus really was like just there because I feel like the other movie had him, so it's a easier way to keep it normal, like keep it like that. Because at one point, Broly's like going in on people like on the planet that are, you know, very like evil things, and somehow this collar is something he can't break. You know, like even when he goes rage mode, and maybe that collar's around his neck and he doesn't like it, he can't break it for some reason. So I didn't actually like that aspect of the collar, and feeling like they really just had to put that in there type of deal. Maybe, I don't know, man. But other than that, there's not that much bad thing. Yeah, that's about it that I can give you that's negative. Like the beginning was just a big brief like whiff of whatever they wanted you to know about, and then after you know about it, they're like, here is this fight you've been waiting for. Lag in it, lag out. And that was awesome with how, if you want to watch something that, you know, it's not completely just fighting. They're trying to explain to you what's, you know, caused all of this, why Broly's acting this way, and how Broly's a pacifist, but when he gets angry, he just goes in. You know, like he has no control over his actual anger when it comes down to fighting and reserving himself. So I thought that was a good way of like playing off that. Oh, I'll probably die on this. Let's see if I can win this with Gogeta. But the other thing that really kind of, I don't know, it kind of made me feel like the movie just was so like intelligent when it came down to stuff was Goku and Vegeta's transformations during the Broly fight were like just beautiful, man. First Broly kind of like he powers up, and it's, you know, it's kind of normal Broly. Like it's stuff is getting destroyed just by him powering up. But when Goku and Vegeta go, they use all of these different color palettes that just look so dope every time. Like that green that Broly has, for some reason Vegeta and Goku had it. And I think that's coming back to where I was telling you guys about that whole that great ape transformation. There is a part in this movie where I think maybe even Goku and Vegeta haven't necessarily messed with that type of transformation or that type of even power of the giant ape anymore, which is weird because Vegeta had full mastery over it to such a degree that he was making himself an ape even in the daytime when didn't need full moons. So for him to not have some hold of it, it was weird to me. But if that is one of the another like pushes they can do, because he's using the great ape to not be able to be slowed. Like people have used it, but it made them very slow. It sounds almost as if it's the Super Saiyan power going super. You know what I mean? Like Super Vegeta. Sorry, it sounds like Super Vegeta when he's like, "Oh, this is the next power. It's so powerful." But then he was so slow that it didn't matter, or Trunks was so slow it didn't matter. And I think that's kind of what we're looking at here. But I could be wrong. This is me. I watched the movie twice now, and that's kind of the gist I've got from what Broly had as base form anyway. Uh, Plus, then he stacked it on to his Super Saiyan, which was just disgusting. But yeah, Goku goes into SS like suit, just like SS, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. The red, when he goes red, it actually does like this hit type of move and time stops Broly and pretty much gives him the talk of like, hey, we're Saiyans just like you, but we're living in peace. Like, we don't want to be fighting people and destroying our home pretty much. Like, you're not like Cell, you're not like Frieza, who just want to actually kill us because, of grudges and stuff like that. Like, you aren't bad. You're not a bad guy. Um, but it was just funny to me that it almost reached him, and then he just kind of had someone nagging in the back of his ear to, make sure he remembered what to do. But the best part is when Goku goes SS Blue. These guys are clever. The people making this movie are so clever. He went from like blue, he had green hair like Broly, and then he even went Ultra Instincts for a minor, tiny little itty bitty tiny, just a little second, just a tiny bit of a second. And to see like and when I say he went Ultra Instinct, it was the animation, it was the aura of Ultra Instinct. I've seen Ultra Instinct enough times to know that it is that. Not to mention Gogeta Blue also had the same esque like Ultra Instinct vibe about him towards the very, very end when he's pushing like himself to the edge, breaking just Broly and destroying him, which I'm going to talk more about Gogeta in more detail. But with Vegeta literally pushing Broly to be able to fight SS God, Goku finally tags in and still goes at him at base, guys. At base. Goku is so cocky, bro. And I think that comes down to just them, because this was my idea the second time I watched it, was Vegeta could see Jiren's moves one time, and then he reacted to it and countered, correctly, perfectly. And also, Goku learned from watching Hit fight Vegeta and learned how Hit would fight, not necessarily how he was going to throw everything, but he learned how Hit was going to throw some of the points to the vital points, and that's how he could counter it. So with Goku watching this whole entire fight, he literally can swap hands only in the sense of dodging and like protecting himself against Broly, because Broly is at a point where he's almost going Super Saiyan, and he's pretty much just at the ape almost fully taking over his body. And he's keeping up, and Goku's keeping up with that base. And Vegeta, Super Saiyan God, punched it once in the face and didn't even move him, didn't even shook him. So take that as you will. And then he goes Super Saiyan. He can, almost push Broly back a little bit. But the whole time, guys, the whole time, this man Broly is not caring, bro, and just going in on Goku. And Goku goes God. I tell you, he does the whole, talk, trying to help, like, get him away from, just fighting them in general and, stand down. But you know how that goes. But Goku's, after trying to talk him down, Goku starts literally just getting bodied in Super Saiyan God, which it's funny that he even thought it would be that relevant when he saw Vegeta, getting just washed. But this is how these Saiyans fight. They just love to have a good time, and that's another reason why the movie ends the way it does. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to do as long as a video as I wanted to, so I'm going to come to the conclusion rather quickly soon here. So sorry if this video is actually pretty long, but with Goku going God and showing all that different prowess and stuff, we have a lot to look forward to if Super ever comes back, or whatever is the continuation of where this left off. I think it would be kind of dumb to not continue with just Super right now. I mean, at this point, you have Dragon Ball Super heroes. You have all these different super things. So it seems like that's the next true step we should be staying in. But other than that, we really get to just learn how much different people are like, pushing Goku and Vegeta to do different types of fighting styles and all these different things. That once they make Gogeta, and they're still actually keeping up, or not keeping up, but Broly's still keeping up with them at Super Saiyan, was hype. Not to mention, they go so crazy in this fight that when they're starting, I think they're still Gogeta is still Super Saiyan, and no, they go Super Saiyan Blue. He goes Super Saiyan Blue, and once they start colliding and fighting, they literally break all time and space itself, pretty much. And they're in their own time and space, fighting each other, still going at each other's necks. Which then they finally break back into reality, which was so sick. Which that's probably gonna go over some people's heads, like, oh my god, this is just really good looking art here. I'm not saying it's one of you guys. I'm just saying some people probably didn't understand that they literally did what kind of like Beerus and Goku were doing in Battle of the Gods, but like to even crazier extent in just a smaller radius. So it's getting nuts, and I think the cast, or like the creators of the show, like Toei and everybody who's actually getting to write these scripts now, understand just how powerful these people should become relatively over and over time. So really interested to see where everything goes from here. But with that being said, we have this weird moment when Gogeta is about to, he does pretty much all the power-up stuff that I was talking about. He's just going in, and for some odd reason, this man wants to, just absolutely kill Broly. He just wants Broly erased from existence at this point. And the thing that really kind of caught my eye for the second time watching it was Whis. He's like, wow, that last hit that Gogeta has thrown should be it. Like, he's like, that's a wrap. Goodbye, Broly. And then Gogeta starts doing a Kamehameha, and he just leans forward like he's about to help Broly in any way, shape, or form. Because I mean, if you really think about it, this is a Saiyan that has no training from Whis or anybody. Besides another Saiyan on a planet that, really didn't have much going for it in the first place. And he's already keeping up with the people who have been fighting other people from other universes. So there's no way Whis does not see potential in him. Not to mention Frieza sees potential in him still. But with Gogeta doing this and trying to straight up murder Broly, it kind of feels like Vegeta has a little bit more of a pull in Gogeta's in this state of fusion compared to Goku, because Goku was trying to save him when Vegeta had already tried to kill him. So it kind of fuses the two together, and it seems like Vegeta takes over more, and maybe in Vegito Goku takes over more. I would like that to be a thing, because then we would know which version is going to take the most pity on somebody and which one is going to literally just try to go in and destroy somebody. So with all that being said, guys, the one thing that I wanted to say about Goku and Vegeta truly maybe having new power just like Broly's is when you see Gogeta, and this might just be in an animated animation style, which I have seen also done before, but when you see Gogeta and when he's about to try to finish Broly, look into his eyes. That was probably the closest thing I've seen them get to pretty much just losing it completely. They seem like someone we've never seen before, pretty much. So take that with a grain of salt, because it could have just been a stylistic thing that they chose to do. Because I mean, to be honest, Gogeta had some pretty dope looking aura that looked more Ultra Instinct than SS Blue, so that also could have just been a choice, you know. But what I'm saying is, with Broly's eyes being the main focus of Broly's like transformation after or before his body starts transforming, it's usually his eyes were the main things we were focusing on. So for them to then go to focus on Gogeta's eyes and show this like detail like loss of like self or something, like it just seemed like whatever was going through his mind, it was kill now, you know, or something along those lines. And I can't believe the first time I saw it, I didn't really think about them having the same ability as Broly at that moment and reaching something that could maybe push them to a new limit, or not. It could be something that's just, you know, really cool for the movie, which I wouldn't mind either. But overall, guys, this movie is absolutely dope. I'm going to probably not do a review for the movie, the dub, but overall, like, I'm pretty sure it's going to be quite the same. If there is any huge retcons in the dub compared to what the sub said, because Goku verbatim says Broly is stronger than Beerus, maybe. Like, he's like, maybe Goku, maybe Broly has surpassed Beerus, and he's a god. He's a god that I know, you know? Sorry about that. But by just stating that Beerus, you know, knowing Beerus's power over more and more time, maybe that some time has passed. Like, Vegeta's daughter has a full head of hair and stuff, so time has passed. They might have seen something from Beerus. I doubt it, because how Beerus is, if he doesn't have anything to do, he won't power up. But they've seen Beerus's power a lot, so for them to state it to even be relatively close is a huge compliment and another step towards them being that much stronger. But to end it all, guys, I hope this video is still working after what just happened. But to end it, pretty much what happens at the end of this all is what I want a cooler to show up for just like no reason in the end credit or something. But with Broly pretty much about to, he just lost it all, and then Gogeta losing himself about to kill Broly, the girl who pretty much saved Broly from the planet that he was on in the first place, snatches the Dragon Balls from Frieza's assistant, which Frieza took on Broly for like an hour and a half, guys. Understand, this is the Super Saiyan form Broly that Vegeta and Goku were fighting at the same time at SS Blue. And not doing like anything to him, and then they needed to run away and learn fusion. Frieza held him off for a half an hour because they messed up the fusion twice, and then they got it right and had to then come over, you know. So Frieza is a boss, and of course he didn't touch Whis at all, if that's any questions. But if you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. I will answer anything that I left out that you did want to know about how I felt, or just what was in the story about it. Other than that, though, guys, thank you so much for the support. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Goku pretty much finds, but yeah, Goku, at the end of it all, Goku finds Broly on the planet that this girl uses the Dragon Balls to send him to, and then he gives him everything that Broly would need to live comfortably, with like food and all that type of stuff. So Goku has someone to train with that is stronger, or at least close to the power of Beerus for a little bit, and then not to mention he's already, you know, still has Whis he can go and train with at the same time and learn. I don't know why he hasn't learned like other techniques and seeing if Whis has any, but whatever the case is, that's pretty much where this whole thing can go at this point, and I love it. Like, now Goku might be going to Broly instead of going to Whis, and that's another way that Goku and Broly, or Goku and Vegeta might separate each other from like their way they're training, is they're gonna learn from two different, methods altogether. And I thought that would be a pretty cool way of separating them again and having them competing in a sense of like, oh well, yeah, I've been training with this guy and I've gotten this strong. Oh, you've been training with Whis still and you're that strong? Wow. So hopefully that happens. But yeah, Broly lives. Frieza also lives and pretty much just plots on maybe using him in the future. So that's also a thing. But other than that, I will talk to you guys in the next one. And I hope you guys had a great day, morning, evening, whatever the case is. And hit me up in the comments if you have any questions or stuff like that. So with that, everybody, take care and peace.